2020 has been a big year. Even before it started, I knew it was going to be a big year. It was the year of my high school graduation, the beginning of my college career, the first election I would vote in. In a lot of ways, it felt like everything in my life up to this point had been building towards this year. So going into it, I knew it was going to be a big year. But I thought I would be prepared. I thought, given all of my experiences, all of my knowledge, all of the support I had, that I would be able to handle it. And yet, as January came and classes started back up again, I found myself struggling to come to terms with the fact that high school was ending. Such a huge portion of my life was coming to a close. And an even bigger portion of my life was just beginning. I had to not only be prepared to enter college, but to enter adulthood. And then COVID-19 hit. It took what was already a tumultuous time and completely turning the world upside down. School was canceled and then pushed online. Going out went from being normal and expected even to being dangerous. Jobs, schools, shops, the entire world came to a halt and shut down. And all the while, I still had to figure out what I was going to do, potentially for the rest of my life. It was overwhelming. I felt like there was no way I could possibly figure all of the things I need to figure out. So I didn't really. I ignored them. I still had things that I had to do, of course, and I still got them done. But again, it began to push things off more and more. Things that were more urgent, I would begin to let get closer and closer to being not done at all. And I had always had an issue with procrastination. In fact, one of the only reasons that I got as far as I did and have done as well as I have done is because of the support and pushing of people around me all my life. But even though I struggled, I did get things done. I passed all my classes, squeaked by college admissions, and even got my driver's license all ready to go. So I had made it to college. I was so prepared for things to be terrible, for things to be grueling, for my best to no longer be enough. That's what I had been told by so many people for so long. So I was prepared for that. College went well then, at first. I would show up to class an hour early. I would make double sure I knew exactly what I had to do and when it had to be done by. But as I realized that it wasn't quite that extreme, and as I got used to everything, I began to relax. I began to fall back into my old habits again. I began to push deadlines further and further. I began to finish assignments minutes before the deadline instead of hours, and eventually even ended up missing some assignments altogether. Throughout all of this, I was constantly thinking about these things. The fact that I was by myself most of the time meant that I had a lot of time to be alone with just my thoughts. But on top of that, this class that I was in had specific assignments that were designed to facilitate more introspection, which only made me reflect more. Having to answer questions about who I was and what I believed in and why made me more conscious of myself than ever. I began to really re-examine who I was and my choices I was making, not just in the class, but in my own time. I began to see patterns emerge, and bit by bit, I started thinking about how I could change those patterns and maybe make them better. which leaves me where I am now. I'm still coming to terms with myself. I'm still navigating everything that comes with trying to transition from one part of my life to another. I still haven't fixed everything. I need to fix a lot of things. I still don't have all of the answers. And I need a lot of answers. But I have fixed some things. And I do have some answers. There hasn't been some sort of magical happy ending or resolution. I don't think there will be. But I think that's okay right now. I'm working on things bit by bit. I'm working on a single chapter of my life, not the entire story. And maybe that's okay.